Hi guys, I'm doing this as effectively as a live stream. It's not really a live stream, but I wanted to kind of challenge myself today, and what I want to do is I want to create Flappy Bird. Now, I've never played Flappy Bird, so yeah, this is going to be a kind of tricky one for me. So I want to, whoa, let's go over to here. So the first thing I did was I found these sprites. I have no idea how legal this is, but this is the URL that it belongs to is up here. I will turn off my webcam so I can capture this later on. So I'll zoom in on that URL. That's where I got the sprite sheets from. Yeah. And I played a video on YouTube, so I'm going to find that just now. Give me a sec. If I go to YouTube, history, where are we? So yeah, there was this character here. I don't want to, there's an advert, that's why I'm not playing it. So if I skip the ad. So this is Annoying Orange. So thanks to Annoying Orange, I'll put a link to his full video in there. So this is him playing it here. So it's basically just a sort of static background and then a scrolling text thing, tile sheet thing there. Yeah, so let's try and build Flappy Bird then. Okay, so over to Unity, and I'm going to create a new 2D project, and I'm going to call it that. I don't think this code's going to be that tidy, but we'll see how we get on. But I will release the full project once we've done it. And by we, I mean me. Okay, so I have this over here, so I'm going to create a folder, and I'm going to call this art. I'm just going to shove everything in here. So I'm going to rename it art, and another one called scripts. And yet another one called scenes. So inside my art folder, I am going to drag and drop in these sprites. Now the sprite sheet, if I go to the sprite editor, this is the sprite sheet here. Now this is in as one item, but I really want it to be in as multiple. So you can see here that I really want these kind of two. These are two sort of states. I don't think that's a third state, maybe that is a third state. They're not, it's not particularly well organized, so we're going to have to do some kind of cutting up here, which is not the most efficient. But we can see that we have this here, so what size are these? These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17, so they're probably 18 by 18, maybe. Sprites, probably good enough. Okay, so I am going to say that these are multiple sprites, and let's make them, let's see if we can break Unity. We're going to make them 1 pixel per unit. So every unit in Unity is going to be a pixel, which means that these are going to be huge when we bring them in here. And I want to be multiple, and I don't want polygon, I just want multiple. So I'll click on sprite editor, apply. All right, okay, so here we go. So slice. Automatic. Well, let's try and see what we get here. So we'll click on slice. Okay, so that did not too bad a job, I guess. So this is the background it's got. It's got these medals here, which you can bring in a little bit. So that's more like that. This land is there. These pipes are actually tighter than that. So yeah, so there's still a bit of working to get done. So that one worked. That one worked. That one's okay. I don't know why that's there. That is not a single sprite, so that's not good. These are singles. These are all singles as well. That's good. Get ready is not a single sprite, but it should be. So I'm going to delete that one, and then I'm going to extend this one over to there. And similarly, the game over sprite, that should be the same sprite as well. So there's that, and then Flappy Bird should be all one sprite too. I'll put links below so you can like jump around the video, but yeah, you get the kind of general idea. All right, so this is all one sprite. So I'm going to get rid of that, and that, and that, and that. And I'm going to extend this one to about here, because that looks like it's double that one. Okay, so those are all together. That one's right, that one's right. These menu keys are there. I mean, we could do the low-hanging fruit first, but I think we should start with the actual game itself. And this copyright is all one sprite as well. So I am going to do that there, and then I'm going to change that to copyright. Mostly because I want to have pipe downward, and this is pipe up. Sorry, I'll finish my thought there. I want to name them so that I know what they are, if that makes any sense. So that when I look at them, I just go, okay, that's, you know, this color here. Okay, so this is going to be, I'm guessing that's bronze. And this will be silver. And this will be gold. And that's the title. Game over. Okay. Ready. And then we have numbers there, which, oops, don't want to create that one there. Yeah, they're all over the shop. I don't know who cut this sprite sheet up, but could have done a little bit better job of it. And I think that is possibly not finished. I'm not entirely sure, but this is definitely ground. And that is backdrop. Call it background. Okay. So we could probably use that sprite there, that black sprite there, because we could have it either side, so that we're hiding things as we show them. Okay, let's fix up this down here, because this was a bit of a mess. No, that was right. It was this one here. The 3 and the 1 were joined together. So there's the 3, and there's the 1. So let's make that a separate sprite. That's got to be the same size as this one here, which is width 6, height 7. So width 6, height 7. Wow, I guessed that. Totally right. Width 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7. That's got to be 6, 7 as well. And then these have got to be 6 and 7 as well. Okay. And we can implement some of this as UI components, or some of it as actual in-game rendery componenty type thing. Okay, so I'm going to click on apply on that one. So now our sprite sheet has all of these against it. So we can see that we have certain ones that are numbered and certain ones that aren't. So let's go fix that. So there's our ground, there's our end placement. So title, game over, get ready. I don't know what that is. And then each one of these birds has to be the right size as well, because they're going to be separate sprites. So that is 17 by 12, 17 by 12, 17 by 12. Okay, so they're all exactly right. So that's good. So that's got to be Flappy 1, Flappy 2, Flappy 3. I think that's the right sprites. Well, it's the only thing that's animated in this. And that is button menu. Okay. So rate that in the App Store. It's probably not button score, but whatever. Share. Button start. Button pause. And button play. And then that is going to be L0, L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. I'm calling these L because they're the large numbers. See the amount of prep that goes into this? Crazy, huh? And similarly, these are going to be called small 2, small 3, small 4, small 5, small 6, small 7, small 8, small 9, and we have small 1, and small 0. And we're going to call this one black, and of course we called that one black, we're going to call this one white. And that is our instructions. I think we've named everything. Oh, new. And this is going to be plus, I guess. Right, I think that's everything. And then that's copyright. Okay, so we click on apply. So now everything should be here and we shouldn't have anything. And we get sprite 15. What's sprite 15? I don't know what sprite 15 is. Yeah, we don't need to worry about these things. But you see that we have them in order. So S0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then the same thing for our large 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Cool. Okay, so our sprite is going to be, our background image is going to be front and center on this here. So where's our background? So our background is just going to be a sprite. And you can see that our background is absolutely huge. So that's our game just now. So if we bring this back out, where is our camera? And we fill up roughly about this amount here. There we go. So now we have our background on display. So I'm going to call this, I'm going to call it background because it's our background. But the main camera, I want everything behind that to be black. I don't want to show anything else. I just want it to be black. And it's going to be centered on our screen. Now you notice it's a bit kind of fuzzy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new material, and I'm going to call this one Pixel Perfect. I'll come back to that in just the reason why I'm doing that in just a sec. The one I want is I want sprites, and then I want default, and I want pixel snap. That's the important bit, is pixel snap. I don't want to tint it or anything else. I've got debug on, that's why I'm getting weird things like that. Okay, so that's what I want. I just want pixel snap on. No, I don't have debug, I've just got it normal. Okay, I don't know why that's there. Losing my mind. Okay, so pixel snap is on. So now when I go to my background, what I want to do though is I want it to be point no filter for my sprite sheet. So I click on apply, and that kind of makes it a little bit sharper. But just to make sure, when I go to my background, I want to make this the material that we use. So instead of sprites default, we use our own pixel perfect material. And I don't know if you noticed, but it does actually make a bit of a difference. I don't know if you can see it coming up on there, but if I drag that out there, watch what happens. Just keep your eyes in the clouds. See that everything goes just a little bit clearer? So there's a little tip for you if you're doing any pixel games. Okay, so I'm going to save this in the scene, so I'm going to call this the game scene. Alright. Okay, so there's a game scene. Now the other thing that we have is we have our foreground, or in fact just our ground. So our ground is going to look like this. So here's our ground here. And you see that it's slightly bigger than our actual screen, and that's important. So what I want to do is I want to have, go to my scene, I want to have this down here, and I want to have it butted up against it. Not that it really matters, but I want it to be there-ish. Oh, it's got to be, yeah, that's good. So that now it appears on the bottom. Now I need more than one of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a empty game object, and I'm going to call this ground. And I'm going to call this ground 1. And I am going to copy the position of this one, so this object here, copy component, and then I'm going to paste that into the ground component there. Paste component values. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to have this object and this object to have the same position, because I'm going to drag this ground object onto here. And I'm going to make a duplicate of that, and I'm going to call it G2. And while I have the V key held down, I'm going to drag this vertex, and it's going to snap to over here. So I'm going to do V, and it's going to snap out to there. All right. So now if I look at my game, these are not snapped correctly. That's because I need to add a background, my material. So I do sprites default there, and then I do the same thing for here. So I do my pixel perfect one here. And now, will you look at that? They're now pixel perfect. Everything is merged in. It's absolutely spot on. It's exactly how I want it. Now, when this one scrolls out, so if I scroll ground, so if I change the X value of ground, you'll see that it moves across like that. But as soon as this one disappears off the edge there, I want to move that to be at the end of this one. So that's what I need to figure out. So currently it starts at position 5. So I need to figure out where these things are. Okay, so that's that'll be the phone. So that pixel perfect comes in really handy. Okay, so that's our back, that's our ground. Now our pipes are actually made up of an upper and a lower pipe. And how are we going to do this? So initially they're going to have a gap like that, or maybe a gap like that, but as the game goes on, we're going to make it a lot more difficult, and the gap's going to be tighter and tighter and tighter. So I want to have it so that there's like an offset from there. So I think what I want to do is, let's bring in the pipe just now. So my pipe is going to be, so pipe downward. So there's my downward pipe. And then my pipe upward is going to look like that. So if I go to here, so there's my upward pipe, and there's my downward pipe. So they've got to sort of fit in the same kind of size there. And you notice that ground is in front of there. So I just need to drag ground down there. Oh yeah, because right, okay, I need to sort that. So ground has got to be before everything else. So these two have got to be before everything else. So if I just bring that, that should bring that further up. Why is that not working? Why are you not working? Oh, that's why, because I'm doing the wrong one. Ah. Okay, so let's make those both 100. I had the wrong item selected. So now our pipes are going both. Our pipes are between the ground and the background. So now they look. It's getting to look like Flappy Bird. That's what I think. Okay. So this one has got to be. So let's make create empty, and we're going to call this one pipe work. And this is going to be, our pipe work is going to be our prefab. And we're not actually going to create a prefab, we're just going to have this as an object in the scene. We don't need to create a prefab to do all this, but it's going to have that kind of value. So we're going to put it at 0, 0, 0. And then we're going to do the same thing for these two as well. We're going to put them at 0, 0, 0, like that. So now we know that the up pipe and the down pipe are they're going to be aligned to each other, so they're going to match like that. They're not going to be kind of offset, they're going to be lockstep in there. So I'm going to move the downward pipe, that is going to go up on the y-axis. Let's say that goes up 50 on the y-axis. And that means the downward pipe has to go negative 50 on the y-axis. So you can see that it needs to be a little bit more than that, so negative 100. There you go, negative 100, and then this has got to be positive 100. Okay, that's actually not a bad gap. So 100 is going to be our our initial gap is going to be 100. And then we can vary that size, and all we need to do is just change the downward pipe and the upward pipe, and then just like half each time. So if we want to increase that by 50, we would decrease the y of the downward pipe by 50, so that would go to 75. And then the upward pipe would then go to negative 75. And you can see it's a lot tighter. And also that would be pretty much impossible to do, but whatever. So negative 100, and that's going to be positive 100. Okay, so that's going to be our sort of initial looking pipe. So then we just drag that into our pipework. Pipework like that. So we're going to call that upward pipe, and this one's going to be called downward pipe. Okay. And our pipe work is at 0, so anytime we want to create a random value, this is inside our scene. So let me just move into 3D just for a sec, because the gimbals are easy. So I would just move this upwards. Let me just do this as a split screen so we can sort of see it. So if I want to move the pipe, there's a low pipe, there's a high pipe, and we need something in between as well. So we'll get those kind of values there. Yeah, and the game's kind of shipping up quite nicely. All right. So maybe we don't want that minus that. Maybe we want that to be... actually, we could probably just vary it by doing the downward pipe and then changing the value on that, because if we change the Y value on that, that kind of decreases the amount. So if we made that, you know, 80, so that's tough. That's probably a little tough. So make that 70. So we could probably get away with just varying the downward pipe value, but we can vary where those pipes are put on the scene. See, we can't go that far beyond there. So that's where it kind of falls apart. Well, I guess if we're changing the downward pipe, we could probably, well, we can figure it. I'm trying to think about how we can do these things. So let's leave it as 100 just now, and we'll leave that at 0. So that is our, if I go back to 2D, so yeah, so that is our kind of starter for 10 as far as the pipe work's concerned. So now I think what we want to do is we want to get the ground moving. So I want to have this one move to wherever this one is added to that. So that is 154. So I want to move it to, it was there, so I wanted to move it to twice 154. Okay. All right, so let us move the ground. So let's create a script, and we'll call this move ground. Okay, move ground. All right, so we're loading the ground here. Using Unity. Okay, I'm going to get rid of all of these just now. And what have we got? We need the actual component itself. So public object ground, and public game object first, second. Okay. So if the ground is less than half, so I'm going to say that public int ground piece width is 154. So because this is pixel, every unit is 1 pixel. If I'm half of that away, so I start off at 0, 0, 0. So if I'm here, that means that I need to move this piece further up and then trundle that along. Okay, I think that's right. Where are we? Actually, I think we could probably get away with resetting it. Let's see if we can get along with resetting it. Okay. So it always just resets to the back. void start, void update. And the speed, let's make this whole number. So this is, what's 154? Is 154 easily divisible by something? 8, no. 54 divided by 16, no. 24, no, it's even worse. What's 77? Yeah. Okay, let's make it 8 pixels per second just now. So we're currently 8 pixels per second, so ground dot position minus equals new vector 3, and we want to change it along the x, so that's going to be speed times time dot delta time, comma 0, comma 0. So every time we move it along that way. So we probably don't need these if we're going to do it this way. If we're going to do it the way that I think we should do it, which is we just reset it back to the position, we should probably be okay. So my ground here, I'm going to add move ground. And the ground is going to be that one, and we don't need these just yet. So well, ground's moving. Albeit very slowly. Okay. So we're getting that there. So I think if we get to maybe, we're over by a certain amount there, aren't we? What are we over by? So I think that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is 8. So round dot transform dot position is less than dot x is less than or equal to 8. We'll just hard code these values in here. Ground dot transform dot position dot x plus equals 8. And we can't do that because we need to put it into here. So pause equals ground dot transform dot position, and then we can do pause equals that, and then we can do ground dot transform dot position equals pause. Okay. I think that's 8. That looks like 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think it is 8. So it's got to be not 8 equals 0. Pause.x, so that is there. So if I change that to -8, 9, 10. So -10 it is. So if I make that 10, less than 10, then I snap it back to there. Why is that not doing anything? Ground dot transformed at position is less than speed times delta time. So it's less than 10. Reset it to 0. Why is it going beyond that? I guess we debug and find out. Oh. Negative 10, we're going that way. That's why. Okay. So now that's not doing what I thought it was going to do. Transform position. Plus 10. I need to add 10 to it because there might be minute differences because we're not getting exactly that. No, it's not resetting to the right position. Okay, back to square one. So if we move x, because x is 5, that's why. Damn it. Why is x 5? Oh dear, what can the matter be? So that's got to be 5, and then this has got to be clamped onto that. Okay, well that explains why. Okay, let's try and see if we can get this to work. No, it's not doing what I want it to do. Okay, whatever. So much for being lazy. Let's do it the other way. Alright, so I want to do this as... so this is my first one. My first. And this is my second. Okay. So I want to keep going, just keep doing that. But then I want to say if ground dot transform dot position is why am I making this so difficult for myself? Okay, right, all I want to do is I want to say when I get to the end of this, I want to get to here I want to swap out that value. So I think I can use position for that. So I can say so I'm going to make a caboose, and the caboose is going to be second, and I'm going to say if second dot transform dot position, not local position but position in world space, dot x is less than or equal to -10. I want to swap the first one and move that to wherever this position is. So I want to say first dot transform dot local position equals second dot transform dot local position plus new vector 3, and this is going to be 154.00 because it's 150, well, it's ground piece width. It's width. Local position equals that, and then I want to say the caboose is equal to the first. So I want to change that to be caboose there. So I want to say the caboose, so the current caboose is the second one. So it's the caboose is the last car in a train. So I want to say if the caboose is, its position is less than 10, then I want to move the first car to be the back car, and then I want to set that new back car as being the back car, if that makes sense. So hopefully now what we'll get is we'll get a ground that moves constantly and keeps switching the caboose. Okay. So it's going to slowly, and when this gets to the end, so we're scrolling, and then, come on, should have made the speed faster. Okay, that didn't quite work, did it? Less than 8. Let's speed this up a bit. So this is in units per second, so let's say it's going to be 77, because 77 is half of that, so it's going to take 2 seconds to get across the screen rather than the interminable time that it took there. Okay. My speed's not working. Why is my speed not working? Because it's a public float. That's why. Okay. Choo-choo. Well, that didn't work. Because that's got to be caboose. And I need a front as well. So I need a game object front because I need to swap them around. So that's got to be caboose is that. So caboose is going to be the, so game object temp equals caboose. And then second, caboose equals front, and then front equals temp. So that'll swap them around. So that's got to be front instead of first. Okay. I think we're done for ground moving. Hopefully the physics thing will be a lot easier to figure out. Right, we also need to have curtains as well, because I don't want the ground to be shown there. So I am going to add create empty, and I'm going to put that at 0, 0, 0, and I am going to call them curtains. And I'm going to go back to my there, and I'm going to put that in there, and then this one is going to be there too, and I'm going to call this left curtains, and this one's going to be called right curtains. Okay, left curtains, where are you? It's curtains for you. I'm going to make them suitably big enough, and I'm going to clamp them to the base. Oops, whoa. I'm going to clamp it to the base of this here, because I want them to be I want them to butt up against there, but I don't want them to I don't want them to overlap. So it should be a nice dark black seam, and again I need to add my pixel perfect to there, so that they're nice and clear and snappy. And also I want to make these ordered in the layer. I want them to be as far forward as possible, because they're going to be like theatre curtains. They're going to hide everything. So I'm going to make these 1,000. And because my ground is 100, well, we could make these 400, I guess. And then my right curtain is also going to be quite big. And it's going to be roughly there, and you see what I mean? It's hiding these values here, because I don't want these sprites, because I don't want it to look like there's, I want it to have the illusion that we just have this this image in here. Okay, so now when I look at my game, let's see what the ground looks like. All right, so now it looks like we have a continuous ground. So we don't have any like flipping out that we had before, because there's curtains either side of that. And because this is going to be scaled, it should work okay on like 543, 34, 92, if you're on a Mac, if you're on a machine. All right, so we're getting there. We've got movement. We have a it's, you know, we're what 49 minutes in and we have movement. Yay! Okay. So now we have movement, and we can vary the speed as well. So if you go to the ground, our speed would be maybe half of that again, so maybe 35 is the sort of initial speed. So now it's much more sedate, but it's still not going to be. It's still going to be fairly. It's going to be seamless. That's the word I was looking for. Seamless. So we're not going to see any movement in there. So now we need to have, instead of our pipe there, we need to spawn pipes at regular intervals. So let's create a game controller. So I'm going to create a blank object, and I'm going to call this game controller. And I'm also going to create a script called game controller. So there's my game controller, and I'll fire that up. Okay. Normalize. Normalize away. Okay. So here's my game controller. I'll get rid of that just now. And what I want to do is I want to have public move ground. What I'm going to do is the game controller is going to control every aspect of it. So when we speed up, so we get to level 10, we start speeding up the game, and the pipes get bigger and all that kind of stuff. So I want to have like want to be able to control the speed of the ground. So that's what I'm going to do here. But I also want to pipe prefab. So I'm going to call this the pipe prefab, but it's not really the pipe prefab. It's actually just our pipe work that we're going to have here. So I'm going to move this out of the road. So my pipe work is actually going to move over to, I'll move it somewhere that we can see it still. So there's our pipe framework. So minus 400 is a good enough place to put it, which means it's out of view of the camera. Now I'm going to spawn a new pipe every 4 seconds. And maybe what I want to do is I want to have a pipe spawner script as well. So let's do create. Let's make sure we get saved. Everything's saved in here. And I'm going to call this one pipe spawner. Pipe spawner. So maybe we do. So maybe we don't actually need the pipe prefab there. Maybe we need that on pipe spawner. That's probably a better idea, actually. So we'll default it to 4 seconds. So every time the game boots up, it's 4 seconds. So let's do a coroutine for that. So void start. Start coroutine, spawn pipes, spawn pipe, even. Okay, so spawn pipe, numerator, so we're going to spawn a pipe, and the pipe is going to be off screen, and the pipe is then going to move. So we are going to have access to various things here. So we're going to have public float speed equals, and then we're going to default that to, are we going to default it? Yeah, let's default it to, what do we have it as in here? Pipe work, no, ground is 35. Okay, so 35. So we're going to spawn a pipe. So instantiate var pipe equals object. Instantiate, and this is going to be pipe prefab, and we want this at a new position, so new vector 3, and then it's going to spawn at a particular point in space. So that point in space is going to be, so it's minus 400 just now, so scroll. Let's make it 100. 100 sounds good. In fact, let's just leave that there because that's good enough for where we have it. Okay, so it's got to be 100, 0, 0. So we want to create a new version of the pipe at that point, which means that the pipe now needs to have a speed associated with it. So for every pipe we have, okay, so maybe we only have 10 pipes. Okay, so maybe I'm thinking maybe we already have those pipes. and we just put them. That makes sense, because we're probably only ever going to have like 2 at any one time on screen, because the pipes are going to be quite far apart. Well, let's assume we've got 5. Maybe you can fit 5 in there. So maybe we actually just create 5 pipes. Okay, let's do that. Game object, pipe pool. So we're going to create a pipe pool when we start this. So our pipe pool is going to be let's do public int pool size. We'll default that to 5. So we'll say pipe pool equals new list objects, and then we'll do for I equals 0, I less than pool size I plus plus. So I'm going to create a pool of these pipes. So instead of spawning them all the time, we're just going to do what we do with the ground, which is we have two grounds, and when we get to the end there, we just swap that one out, and then that one travels along, and we swap that one out, and that one travels along, we swap that one out. We're going to do the same thing with the pipes. The difference is that we can sort of vary how much pipe work gets done. So each pipe gets initialized at 0.100, and then we're going to do pipe pool dot add pipe. Okay. So how are we going to do this? So we need an index into the pipe pool. So our current usable index, or do we need that? Maybe we don't. Okay, spawn pipe. Let's just say we don't need to have a counter there. What we want to do is we want to make sure that we still have values available. So I want to spawn the first pipe that is usable. Maybe I do want maybe I do want an index. Okay. I don't want this to be public. I want it to be private. So index equals 0. So I want to say pipe pool. So I want to say var pipe equals pipe pool index pipe dot transform dot position equals new vector 3 100 0 0 0, and then yield return. I want to do this while it's true. So while the game is running, so public pool is running equals true. So my game controller is going to control how the pipe spawner spawns pipes, but the pipe spawner also controls how pipes move, because we can change the speed of the pipe. So when you move up to the next level, the pipes get faster, and I want to move them all at the same speed. I don't want to have like 2 going slow and then it just looks weird. So everything just speeds up. It's like you speed up rather than the pipes speeding up, if that makes sense. So while is running is true, yield return you wait for seconds, and then the seconds I want to is the spawn time. So you always spawn there, and then I want to do index plus plus. Now, while is running, so when you get to the end, so I have 3 pipes. When one moves off the screen, when do they move off the screen? Let's have a look. Pipe work. So pipe work is they move off the screen when they get to, let's say minus 100. So that's them completely dead. So, maybe I don't want this to be a coroutine then. Maybe I do want this to be an update. Well, actually no. I want it to spawn then, and then I want to increase that there, but I also do want an update. So for int I equals 0, I less than index I plus plus. If I have 10, I go up to there. I've only got 5, haven't I? Full size is 5. So when I get to the 5th one, I can renew it from the start. Yeah, I think that's safe, because then you get 5 goes by and you can reuse the first one. Okay. So I can then say index and then clamp that to pool size. So I can just start reusing it from the beginning. So when I get to I go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the next one is going to be the 5th one, which is going to be the 0 again. Yeah, that sounds good. So that's my reuse there. And then for every one of these, I basically want to do the same thing that I do here, which is I want to I0 is less than index, less than or equal to index. So I just want to make sure that I'm not going to end up getting null in here. So my pipe is going to be equals pipe pool I. So pipe dot transform dot position equals whatever the speed is, that way. Okay, so at that point I don't really care, I just reuse them. So I don't really care if it goes off the screen, because I know that I'm just going to reuse them after I've spawned out 5 of them. And I'm never going to get to a situation where I'm going to have five pipes on a screen anyway. So it doesn't really matter that they're going to get, like, you know, go off into infinity. I'm just going to keep reusing them. Okay, but I was just concerned about this index. So I want to say maybe index equals -1, and then I want to add 1 to the index. So that's going to give me 0, and then I change that to there. Okay, so that's my enumerator. That's me spawning, and then my update is there. I think that's it. I think that's all I need to do. So my pipe spawner is going to go in my game controller. So I have a game controller here. Game controller, and then that's going to be a pipe spawner. And my pipe prefab is going to be this one here. Pull size is 5, spawn time is 4, so every 4 seconds I spawn that. And we can actually try that again, so we can do it as like 2 seconds to make it a little bit faster for us. We can put it back to 4. Speed is 35, and then the ground is going to be this ground controller over here, and then my game controller also needs to know a pipe spawner as well. So I need to know a pipe spawner as well. So my pipe spawner is basically the same thing. So I just drag that object onto there. Don't tell anyone. Okay, I think we're done there. All right, let's try it. Here's the first pipe, second pipe. Okay, now if we look at the scene, so I guess when it gets to the end we need to not show it, because I think the problem is we still have active ones, that's why. So when it gets to the end, we need to move it off screen. So I just need to do eyes less than pool size. Less than pool size. So I think everything moves off in that direction there, which means we do need to initialize that as being negative 400, so that everything, just in case. So the pool is going to create pipes that are way off to the left hand side of the screen, so that when they move, they're always moving off and in the wrong direction. Because what was happening was that was well, a couple of things actually. So the first thing was when this gets reset to being 0, it doesn't update the existing displayed pipes. And that was a problem because that's why they were remaining static, and then they were getting ones drawn, and like ones were coming in, and then eventually they were disappearing and then getting reused. So the pool's working, just the display was a bit wonky. So hopefully that fixes that. So let's look at it as, so this is the game version of it. So the game's got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th one should come in. Okay. So this is how we look. And there's that one, that static one there is the one that never, that's our prefab. So everything looks okay there. So now we have our pipes coming in at the right time. So the spawn time is 2 seconds. So if we make that 4 seconds, so this will now be every 4 seconds. So you see there's a longer distance between those ones there. Okay. And you see that they're moving with the ground as well, because they're moving at the same speed. If I change, and you see that we only ever have, as well over on this side here, we only ever have 5 pipe works. So if I change the speed of the ground to make that, I don't know, 75, so it's twice as fast, you see that this is now moving twice as fast. But I go to my go over here and I change this to 75, and you see that they're now moving at the same speed. Okay, so that's what our game controller is going to do, is it's going to change the speed of the game depending on, you know, when we need to do these kind of things. So, okay, we're getting there. We're an hour and 10 minutes in. We've got this so far. All right, cool. So next thing we want to do is every time we spawn it, we want to have a random value of the position. So the random value of the position the vertical position, if I go back to here and bring my pipe work in, so it's currently at 0 and it can go to, what's the minimum it can go to? The minimum it can go to without looking too ridiculous is like -15. -15, and the utmost it can go to is 75. Okay, so -15, 75. Okay. Now we could restrict it so that it's only ever like plus or minus that value, but we'll do a random value between -15 and 75, which I think range, I think you can do inclusive. So min inclusive, so that's -15 and 75. And so we can put in y there. So every time we spawn the pipe, we change the position to being 100, so we're on the right hand side of the screen. And then we're going to change our y position, and that's going to change the sort of the height, the distance between those pipes. So now when we spawn, oh yeah, we need to move that out of the screen. Whoops. Move our pipe work out of the screen to -100. So now, running, so there's our first pipe, second pipe, okay. Oh, there you go, there's a bit of a difference. Okay. Okay. Looking good. All right. Okay, let's see if we can get our Flappy Bird in here then. So there's Flappy 1, Flappy 2. So I think if we bring this guy in here, I'll call him Flappy Bird Anim. And we'll call it Flappy. And I think we'll move him to here-ish. So -60. That sounds good enough. Actually, where is he in the video? Video's over here, isn't it? Yeah, he's kind of a little bit further over in the video, isn't he? So maybe he's over here. So -40. So here's our Flappy Bird now. Right, it's starting to feel like we're getting there. I think that's good enough for the animation as well. I think that's pretty close to it. Okay, so Flappy needs to get the pixel perfect thing, so he's going to start snapping in there. There you go. Starts to look better already. So there's our Flappy Bird. And we can apply a rigid body to him. So rigid body 2D, excuse me, and yeah, that's good enough. So the auto mass, that's the collider density thing, so we'll just leave it as that, and we'll add a collider, box collider 2D. Let's make it a circle collider 2D, just to kind of bring it in a little bit. Yeah, that's probably good enough. Just bring it in just a little bit more. So we'll make it 8. maybe 7. Yeah, there you go, there's 7.5. Okay, so we just, oops, just bring it in just a little bit. Whoa. Yeah, so we'll just make them kind of 7.5 radius there. Okay, so, and you see these slowly slipping down there. I think the gravity is fairly brutal in Flappy Bird, but we'll play around with those values. But yeah, you can see that. So we just need to get them so that when you click, something happens. Okay. All right. So the game controller's there, and what we'll do is we'll have a change speed. And then we'll do ground.speed equals speed, and then pipe spawner.speed equals speed. So we're going to need this function later on when we, like every 30 seconds, maybe not 30 seconds, but every 15 seconds, we up the speed a little bit until we get to maximum speed. And we probably want to change the spawn time and things like that as well. So. Okay, so let me just check something here. So I want to have on mouse up, I think it is on mouse up. On behavior on mouse up. So I want to have on mouse up, okay. So I also want to have public game object Flappy, void on mouse up, get component rigid body 2D, so every time, so this is me when I click on when I click on the game, I want the Flappy Bird to respond to my clicks. So my game controller needs to know about Flappy. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to add a force upwards. So I'm going to say rb.add force. Now what I need to do here, add force, apply force to rigid body, add force at position. No, I don't think I need that. Add relative force relative to its coordinate system. I think probably we'll just do with add force. And the vector 2 will be vector 2 dot up, because I want to go up the way, and then I want to do it by some kind of magnitude as well, so that's going to be force. And then the force mode is going to be using its mass, impulse. I think add an instant force. Let's try impulse, see what we get here. So this is going to be force, and my force is going to be maybe 10. Let's make it 10. See how we got on from there. So every time I click, I add force of 10. Well, that didn't work. Let's try force. Let's try force of force. Okay. No, it's just sinking like a stone. is this actually hitting? There's a good question. So if it's not hitting, then that's why it's not working. There you go. It's not hitting. Why is it not hitting? On mouse up is called even if the mouse is not over the same GUI element or collider as the mouse has been pressed down on. On mouse up is called when the user has released the mouse button. This function is called when colliders marked as trigger if and only if physics query triggers too. Okay, so I guess we probably need to have this as on the background then, and make that a collider. But I don't want it to be a collider. Why don't I want it to be a collider? That's disappointing. It's called even if the mouse is not in the same GUI element or collider as the mouse has been pressed down on. So if I click, is that right? That can't be right. On mouse up. Okay. I'm assuming. Yeah, that was a foolish idea. Okay, I am an idiot. I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but whatever. Update. You're probably all screaming at the monitor now, and I can understand why. If input.get, I just did I don't know why. Get mouse button up, and I want the first mouse button, which is the int, which is the left mouse button. Don't ask, don't look at me. Sometimes, just occasionally, I wonder about myself. Okay. Overcomplicating it, I don't know why, so... Well, it's still not working. Game controller, I don't know why that's not there. Not there. Okay, so get mouse button up. I'm assuming it's because it's just not enough. Yeah, it's getting it. And Unity crashed. Okay then. Right, let's boot this puppy up again. Okay. And this is why you should always save your scenes. So we'll do this. Rigid body is that. Up is 1. Force is 10. So I guess it probably is impulse then. Yeah, this is just the playing around with the values moment in game development. Okay, there's impulse. So he's clearly gone outside the screen. Force. Maybe we just need to add some more force, so we'll give Flappy. We'll give him a little bit more force. Where's my game controller? So instead of 10, we'll make it 50. And we'll see if that makes a difference. Nope, syncs without a trace. Using its mass. I guess, I mean, Okay. I want it to be though that when you do it too much, like, does he ever come down? Where's the pipes? So, where's my pipes gone? Uh-oh. Upward pipe. So I guess my pipe's gotta be ahead of that, but behind that one. Okay, and then Flappy has to be ahead of everything, so he's got to be 500 at least, because he's got to be ahead of... He doesn't move other than that. So I think Flappy, we've got to bring down his force to 5, and then every time we tap it, we rotate him a bit, because he kind of heads up the way. So we kind of need to know. So here we go. Yeah, I kind of want him to drop like a stone though, and he's not doing that. So if I go to project settings, physics 2D, and then it's minus 9.81, does I just need to increase his mass? Angular drag. No damping, linear drag, no damping, mass. Let's make him 100. Gravity scale. How much gravity affects this body? Maybe I just leave it as 1 and then make that 10. So he gets very attracted towards gravity, so he's 10 times heavier than gravity. Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay, so force, let's make that 25, so that he's always heading down. You've got to keep tapping. Oh yeah, this is a lot better. Okay. Okay, you can play with the physics values here, but that's pretty good. Okay. So now I need to have it so that when Flappy enters the, when he hits something, it's got to be a trigger. So the pipe work, this pipe work here has to have a box collider 2D, which is a trigger. And the downward one also has to have a box collider 2D, which is also a trigger. And each one of these then needs to say that it's been hit. So I am going to have to figure out a nice, neat, simple way to do that. Now I could do it with events, I could do it with a whole bunch of things, but I want to try and keep this game as simple as possible. We haven't written that much code. I mean, we've got, what, 3 classes here. There's 58 lines in that, 30 lines in that, and then another 30 lines in that. I want to keep it fairly simple as to what we've got. And I mean, that class there, move ground, is done. We don't need to come back to that. Pipe spawn, we're going to have to figure something out there. So I think what I want to do is I want to have pipe work maybe I want to have something in pipework that reacts when it's hit, so it knows. So I need to have 2 more classes, maybe. I think 2 more classes, one for each pipe, and then one for the sort of the overall pipe framework itself. And I can't have it as 2 box colliders. Well, maybe actually I could have it as 2 box colliders. I just need to do the offset. Ooh, would that work? Probably not. Would it work? It doesn't matter. What I can do is, yeah, I'll just add more scripts. Okay, so I'll call this one pipework, and this other script I'll call pipe. Okay, reload all. So pipe is gonna have hit equals false, and then I need my unity on trigger 2D. On trigger enter 2D. Void on trigger enter 2D, and then I'm gonna say, so that's the collider. So this is my main player. So he is player. So I'm gonna say if collider dot tag equals player, hit equals true. Again, I want to keep these classes as simple as possible. I don't want to have like a whole bunch of clutter in here. I just want to have them as simple as possible. So I have pipe is being hit, and then pipe, the pipe work, that is going to have an update method, but it's also going to have public pipe top, public pipe bottom, public bool hit equals false. And then I'm going to say inside the update here, it's going to poll pipe top and bottom, and if it's true, it's going to set the hit value to be true. So if top hit or bottom hit git equals true. Okay, so going back up to here, so my upward pipe, my downward pipe, they are now going to have a pipe associated with them. So I have my hit there. Now I don't want to see that inside the inspector, so I'm going to do hide in inspector for that one, and I'm going to do the same thing for here, hide in inspector, because I don't want them visible to anyone outside of there, and I'm going to create a pipe work. So my pipe work is going to be my upward pipe, which is the bottom, and the downward pipe, which is that one. It doesn't really matter which way around, they're going to pull it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So now inside my pipe spawner, I'm going to say public bool hit equals false. I'm going to hide that in inspector as well. Then every time we update it, I'm going to say if pipe dot hit, oops, this is where we start going into things here. So maybe I want to have pipe.transform. So maybe I want to have this as being the actual pipe work itself. So I'm going to have pipework here, and then instead of pipe, I'm going to do .get component pipework. That's going to be pipework. Okay. And then everything else just stays the same, but it means that now I can do if pipe hit equals true. And if hit equals true, inside my game controller, I can check to see if pipe spawner dot hit, then I can basically stop the game, play game over, etc. But in reality, I'm just going to do debug.log Flappy hit the pipe. Okay, so I'm going to move my pipe to -100, move that out of the road. So now when I do Flappy, I just want him to hit the pipe. There you go, Flappy hit the pipe. So let's clear that there. And we'll press play. So Flappy hasn't hit the pipe yet. Still not hit the pipe. Doing really good at this. We're going to make it a little bit more difficult later on in the levels, but this is pretty good. And then boom, so Flappy hit the pipe there. So when Flappy hits the pipe, I want to stop animations on Flappy. I want to stop everything. So I want to say change speed 0. So I don't want to move anything. So basically I want to stop everything in its tracks. Hang on a second, let me check. I might need to stop the recording here. Yeah, that's probably okay. I'm going to stop the recording here because I'm running out of space on my phone that I use for recording. So I'm going to stop that just now. Okay, so after numerous technical issues, I think I've got everything right. So when Flappy Bird hits the pipe, then we're going to change the speed to 0. So now we're going to stop everything moving. We're going to stop the animation, and then we're going to put the rigid body to sleep. That sounds good to me. So when we run, keep flapping, flap, 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 flap. Oh, there we go. And we're going past one pipe. Oh, there we go. So that's it. That's good to go. So I think what we need to do now is we need to have another one, and we need to have a timer up here that has the number of digits in it. I think that's the next step to do. Oh yeah, we need to we need to stop the spawner from spawning. Okay. So pipe spawner. So if it hits, then we need to do stop all coroutines. So we're going to stop all the coroutines that are on here, so we never ever run out of random things. We just stop the coroutines. Okay. And we also need the ability to know whether we've gone past a pipe or not. So I think what we do is we have a trigger inside there. So when we leave that trigger, like at that point, that's when we start adding to the score. So we've got that there, and then that's it, stopped. Okay, so just let it sit there for a couple of minutes, let it soak test, and make sure it doesn't delete anything. You're almost there. Okay. Okay, so I think what we need to do is we need to have some UI elements in here now. And I need to have them so that they match the screen. So the background size, what size is the background? The background size is part of the sprite sheet. So if I do sprite editor and I click on that, so it's 144 pixels by 256 pixels. So if I make a canvas that size and I put it in the world, then it will be the same size as the other UI elements. And then I just need to create a UI element that matches that. Okay, so 144 by 256. Okay, so I'm going to create a UI. Actually, let's go back to, where is it? Oh, I've lost it now. Looks like I'll have to sit through the adverts again. YouTube. Excuse me. Gonna be a commercial? Yep, there is. Oh no, there's not. Okay. So, plays it here. So the score is in the middle. So when he passes by there, he gets 1, 2. So what happens when it goes to 11? He does get to 11 at some point. Okay, so it centers it on there. Alright, okay. Well, I'm sure we can do something similar to that. Alrighty. Okay, so our score is going to be UI canvas. So the canvas is there. We're going to make this world space. And canvas, scalar, world, screen space, camera. Screen space camera, I think, is the one that we want. And then the render camera is going to be the main camera. So now we have this inside here. And then we have scale with screen size. So that scale with screen size is going to be 144 by 256. And 0.5. 1. Okay, so there's 1 there. I don't understand why. Assuming I can't change this. I really do want it in world space, I guess, because I wanted to have it any size I want. So I want this to be 144 by 256. And I want it to be at 0. And dynamic pixels per unit, reference pixels per unit, graphic scalar. I don't understand why that is not the right size, but let's see if we can make it the right size. Okay. Okay, that's kind of ballpark-ish, the figures there. So the height is 144, width is 82, I guess. So 82 and width 144. Okay. So I think we should be okay from there. And then the canvas of that is gonna be, we're gonna have to put the score in the middle. So the score, so they have it they have it scaled, but I'm not particularly fussed about having it scaled, but I do need to know what the score is. So back to this one again. So it's quite near the top. Okay, so it's around about here-ish, I think, for the scale. So what I want to do is I want to create score. I want to create a score, but I don't want to have it. Maybe. Again, I don't really want to overthink this. So I want to have an image, UI, image, and that image contains the number. Are these large numbers? I guess they're small numbers as well. So small 0. Why are you not rendering? Because you are way behind there. Why are you way behind there? Wait a minute, why? Canvas isn't at 0, is it? Pause, ooh, that's wrong. There we go. So that is 0, and an image is, width is 6 by 7, which is the right height and everything. Okay, so I need to move that up here. So roughly about here-ish for the height, I think. How does that look? It doesn't look at all because the main camera is, where's the main camera? The main camera is there. So we need to move the main camera back a bit so we can actually see the UI. Alrighty, so now the main camera can see the UI. We can bring the far in as well, so we can make that 100. And then bring that down. There we go. Okay, that kind of tightens things up a little bit. Alright, so there's our 0 there. So I want to spawn that, but I still want it to be centered on the screen. I don't want to spawn it. Ugh. So many complicated things. Okay, let's just say that this image here is going to be our, well, it's going to be a digit. So this is going to be our units. And then I'm going to create another one of these. And that is going to be here. And then I'm going to create another one of these, and that is going to be here. Ish. Okay. So roughly there. So that's units. And this is going to be tens. And this is going to be hundreds. So the chances of people getting to 100 are fairly slim, I think. And then I'm going to create a, so inside the game controller, let's have a score script. So we're going to create a score script. Score controller. And the score controller is going to take, it's going to have a public score. So public int score, get return score, set score equals value, update visual, and then I'm going to have a private int score. So that's my public there, and that's my private there, and I also want public game object units, tens, hundreds. Okay, and then I want a private update visual. Okay. Alrighty. So the update visual is going to be, well, each one of these, that was a bit, well, okay, no, let's just leave it as that, because what we can do here is we can do public sprite numbers. Alright, so in my game controller, I have my score controller, and then I have my units, tens, and hundreds, and I'm going to update this depending on what the score is. So every time we go through a pipe, or every time we clear a pipe, we get, we add 1 to the score, and that's going to be reflected in there. So it's not going to be quite like that, but we could probably get away with hiding it somehow. Okay. So I'm going to call this play canvas, because we're going to have another canvas as well that we're going to make a duplicate of this, and that's going to be our game over canvas. So play canvas is that, and then we're going to have, what else are we going to have? So the updates visual here is going to be, right, so we need to figure out the score. So I am going to cheat. So I'm going to take score, I'm going to make it a string. And then I'm going to say for int I equals score.length -1, I is greater than or equal to 0, I minus minus. So I'm going to start going from the right hand side up the way. Oh, before we do that, I also want to set those, where are we? Game controller. So I want to set the numbers first of all, so I need to get the small numbers. So I'm going to put a lock on here, and then I'm going to say S0 to S9, and then I'm going to drag that out to the numbers, and so I get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So now what I want to do is, I want to find out what index we're in. So I want to create an array really of these objects. So game object, I'm just going to call them indicators. So now my game object is going to have different indicators. So when I click on, click on game controller, my My indicators are going to be my units, my tens, and my hundreds, because I want to make this as easy as possible for me rather than having to have all these different variables and things going on there. So when I update the score, I'm going to update the visuals. And then my current index equals, and then it's going to be screen.length minus 1 minus I. Okay, so that's giving me the index into the indicators, and then I'm going to change it depending on. So what I want to do is I want to convert this to, I want to convert this from an integer to a string and then back into an integer, so I can use that integer as the index into the numbers array, so I can change the sprite of the current indicator. Wow. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say for int I equals 0, I less than indicators dot length I plus plus, and then I'm going to turn them off. So I'm going to say indicators dot set I dot set active false. So I'm going to turn them off if they're not on. I'm going to turn them off even if they are on or off, and then I'm going to decide to turn them on if they are here. Okay. So this is going to turn everything off. So effectively I've hidden all the indicators. Then I'm going to go through all the indicators in reverse and then add them as we need them, or turn them back on as we need them. So this index is here. So to find out the value, the index into the number sprite sheet, I need to do int sprite index equals, and then it's going to be the character 0 minus whatever the value is at I. That's going to give me the sprite index, and then I'm going to say indicators I dot get component sprite renderer dot sprite equals, and then it's going to be numbers sprite index. So that gets me my sprite index. That gets me my number showing, and now I need to then show that. So I've got to say indicators I dot set active true. So when we run this, update visual hasn't started yet, so I need to do that. Void start update visual. So when we first start it, then we get our updated visual. So we should only ever see the first one if everything's all set to blank. Okay. All right. Oh, missing. There's no sprite render attached to units. What? What? There's no sprite renderer? No, it's an image, that's why. It's an image, which means that we now need to have the UI, and it's source image, I think. Oh, sprite. Okay, so now that should fix that. So we should end up with that one there. All right, so when we go through, whoops. Of course. So we need to make sure that the canvas is ahead of us. So the ground is, where's the ground? The ground is G1, which is 100. So I think we need to make the pipes have got to be there. So the canvas has got to be, what, 500 or something? I think Flappy is also 500. Yeah, it's 500, so that's got to be ahead of that. So I'm going to have to make this one 1000, because I want the canvas to be always in the foreground. All right, that's better. Okay, so when Flappy goes through there, I want to increase that score. All right. Okay. So how am I going to do this? Right. So what I want to have is when you leave it, when you exit a particular trigger, you increase the score. So if I have, where are we? Pipework. Where's my pipework? So here's pipework. So I put that back to 0 again. So here's my pipework. So if I have another object, so this time this is my empty object, and I'm going to call this trigger, because why not? And that trigger is going to have a box collider 2D, and it is going to be a trigger. And the size of it is going to be much bigger than that. So that's that there. But it can't be wider than the pipe. But it needs to be wide enough so that it makes a difference. So this is going to come along for the ride. And what I want to do is I want to fire off an event when this trigger gets hit. So maybe this trigger, okay, well, this is where it gets a bit SS Elegance has left the building. What I want to do is I want to tell the game controller that it's been updated. So I'm going to create a script called Pass the Pipe, and reload all. And the only thing this is going to have in it is, if we go back to here, on trigger enter 2D. The other one I want is on trigger exit 2D, is this one here. Okay. Public. And then I want to have public game controller. Now this is going to get set when we create our, well actually let's do it inside here. So we do void awake. Game controller equals find object of type game controller. So it's a bit hacky, this, but if we find a better solution, then we'll implement it later. We're not going to find a better solution just now, because this is, we're currently at half an hour just now, and the previous video before I had all the technical problems was at like 1:23, so we're kind of, you know, kind of pushing it for time here. Okay. So there's the on collision exit 2D. So if game controller is not equal to null, game controller dot pipe has been passed. Okay, now we don't actually have a method called pipe has been passed, which is why we can actually generate the method there and then press F12 to go to there, make that public, and we'll move it up to here. And I need a public score controller, and I'll call it score, and I'll do score dot score plus plus. That's it. So I'm having a reference to my score controller here. Then every time you pass the pipe, in other words, every time you exit, so you'll enter the you'll enter the trigger volume, you'll enter the trigger volume, and then when you leave it, that's when we update the score. So inside here, all we're doing is we're adding 1 to the score, which will, if we press F12 here, will set the score and then update the visual. So every time you pass the pipe, your score will increase. So now all we need to do is move pipe work out the road. So I'll move it to there, and then my game controller, sorry, I'm having so many different technical problems today. Okay, I think we're okay. So now my score controller, I need to drag and drop onto there as well. So I drag and drop it onto there. And now, let's get rid of this. Make it a little bit brighter, in case you were wondering why it was dull. So we go past through here, and nothing happens. There you go. We can ship it now. Why has nothing happened? Because I didn't add that trigger to there. So if I go to trigger, I need to add my trigger script, passed through pipe, past the pipe. So my game controller is none. So if I go to here, I mean, what I could do, I could probably set it, I could probably set game controller. Yeah, I probably could actually do that. That might be a better way of doing it. So I can set it in there, and then it creates a, yeah, actually that's a nicer way of doing it. Okay, past the pipe. Let's get rid of awake. And then what we'll do is we will drag, so this is us, got a trigger, we've got a script there, we drag game controller onto there, and we don't need to worry about that, we just have that in our script. So our scripts are very, very small, very petite, very tiny. Tiny. Alright, so let's go through this pipe here, and still nothing. Oh, didn't make it through that one. Why past the pipe? Let us attach to Unity, make sure it's firing there. And okay, play. Keep going. Yeah, that works. On collision exit 2D. Why is that not working? I know why it's not working. Because it's not a collision. It's a trigger. On trigger exit 2D. Alright. Again, you're probably shouting at me. So that's redundant, we don't need that. But what we do need to check is we need to make sure that other.tag equals player. Just to make sure. Okay, so now we're good to go. Now we're good to go. Okay. So going through, go through. Well, it removed that there, index out of range. So at least we know it's going through. Okay, well, it didn't like one of them, so let's debug that. Right, update visual. Well, it's fallen off the face of the planet, which we'll need to combat as well. Okay, so we got to here, so sprite index is -1. Well, that's not good. Index is 0, I is 0. I is 1. Sprite index is -1. Why is that going up to that? Is that thinking that's 0? Okay. I take that value and then I subtract the base value of it. So I'm subtracting that from 0. Or subtracting 0 from that. Okay. Where am I getting all this from? So if I go to ASCII table, let me bring up the ASCII table. The reason why this works, let me just bring this view page here, is because if you look at the numbers here, you see that 48 is 0. So if I want to display the first element, it's 14. So if I want to display the symbol 1, I have to use ASCII table index 49. But if I take 49 and then subtract it from 0, I get 1. And that's the index I want into my sprite table. So that gives me the images that I want. So if I go all the way up here, this should change to 1, 1, there we go. 2, there we got Flappy Bird now. 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, dead. So at that point we're dead, which is fine because then we can move on and do other things. All right. Okay. Right. What do we need to do now? Let's do the pause button thing. So in our pause button, let's go to sprites again, sprite editor. So we have a pause button here. I don't know what that is. What is that? So our pause button is 13 by 14, and then we have another one at 13 by 14. Okay. So our pause button is way over on this side here. So if I do UI image, and make that 13 by 14, and put that over here. That seems a lot bigger than those numbers. Double the size. Okay. And the first sprite is button pause. So that's our pause button. So we have our pause button here. And of course, I didn't make this a pause button, so I'm going to just add the script for it. Button. But I still got all the functionality of it. Okay. And I want to swap that image out. So I need another script. And that C# script is going to be on the game controller. So my game controller is going to have, where are we? Game controller. Sprite, paused, sprite, play. And then I need a public pause button clicked. And I also need a private function called paused. Actually, let's call it game paused, so we don't confuse it down there. And we need to make that a void. So when we click on the button, we want to flip whatever it is. So game paused is going to be not game paused. If game paused, do something else, do something else. So only get two states. So the first thing I want to do is I want to know what the pause button is. So I'm going to do public image pause button. That's good enough. Actually, I can pass that in. I don't need to do that. I can do image pause button. Because I can actually change these things over. Okay, so I want to add UI using. And in my button click event for this, I'm going to choose the game object, game controller, and the game controller I'm going to choose is pause button clicked. And you see it takes an image in here, and for the image, this is my pause button. So I am just going to drag my pause button image across here. And I'm going to say if the game is paused, then pause button dot sprite equals play. Otherwise, pause. Paused. And I want to stop the game, play game over, etc. So really, I want to remember what the last speed is and change it back if necessary. So what I want to do is I want to take this out here, and then I want to do set toggle pause. I want to toggle the pause to true. So I want to do void toggle game is paused. So if game is paused, I want to change all the speed to that. Oops. Else, I want to change the speed to be the current speed, which I don't have a variable for yet, but I will put in there. And then I want to play the animation and resume. Start. I think it's start playback, isn't it? Set the animation in play mode. Yeah, that's it. And then for this one, I want to do sleep. What's the opposite of sleep? Make the rigid body sleep. Rigid body 2D sleep. Okay. Rigid body 2D. I want it to not sleep. Wake up. There you go. Right, so I want it to wake up, and my current speed is going to be equals 35, I think was the one that we decided we were going to do. So when we start, where is update? I don't have a update, I've got a start here. So when we start, I want to say change speed current speed. So I want to set the current speed to be whatever it is, and then we can move these around a bit because that's, I like things organized a little bit better than we got here. Okay, so we've got those values there. I think everything's okay. So my game controller, 35, paused and play. Okay, so I need to bring those values across, which is fine because I have those ones here. So I have button paused, and I have button play, which is this one here. And so if I pause the game, if I'm quick, I haven't wired it up yet, that's why. Or have I? I thought I had. Pause button. Pause button image. Oh, I haven't called it, that's why. Whoops. Toggle pause. Whoops. So I swap them across and then I do toggle pause, game paused. So if the game is paused, then it will freeze the action, and if the game is in motion, it starts everything up again. And the way it starts everything up again is it just changes it back to the current speed, starts the playback of the animator, and starts the rigid body ticking. Okay. So just make sure we get enough height here, and then I click on pause. Well, that was a partial success. Let's see why. Why is that? Why is Flappy falling? Rigid body. Sleeping mode, start awake, start asleep. Oh yeah, he's falling. I mean, I could cheat, but it seems it was working when I do. I mean, if I run into this, it stops. But why? Why is he ticking? That's okay, because we're going to get rid of that canvas anyway when we fix it. When we fix it. Of course we're going to fix it. Boop. So we need to have a collision on the ground as well, which is a hit. So that's easy to do. So I have, let's fix that one first of all. Okay, so I've got an upward pipe and I've got a downward pipe. So pipe is there. So what I can do is I can do ground G1 and then I can add a pipe to that. So that is a pipe. And I can add a box collider 2D, which is a trigger. And then I can do the same thing for this one, which is a pipe. Just obstacle, I guess, is what it really should be. And this is going to be a box collider 2D, which is also a trigger. And I need that to have pipe work. So I have a top and a bottom, which is actually a left and a right, but it works kind of the same thing. So I'm gonna have to change things here. What does pipe work do? Hit, okay. So then I do G1 and G2. And then in game controller, that's handled inside the pipe spawner. So that's the ground there, okay. So inside the ground, where's my ground? Move ground. I'm going to have a pipe spawner hit. So I'm going to also have in here, which is going to be a pipe work. Ground collision, and then inside my start I'm going to say ground collision equals ground.getComponent pipe work. Okay, so I'm going to say ground collision, so either I hit a pipe or I hit the ground. Okay. So now if I hit the ground, you dead. And we can up this up here. We get past, we get 1, 2, and you're dead. All right, I think we're on the home stretch here. What happens when you lose again? So you get game over, and then that comes up. Okay. So the end sequence is game over appears. Can it fly down? I guess it flies down. What does it do? Yeah, it flies down, that flies up. Okay. That's easy enough done. Alright. So we need to know, game controller needs to know the canvas object. Canvas, play canvas. So if it's game over, that's going to be dot set enabled equals false. So we're going to turn that off. Turn off the play canvas, and then we're going to have to enable game over canvas. So the enable game over canvas is going to have the things popping up from various bits and pieces, which we're just going to eyeball, but okay, so play canvas is going to be that. So when we die, the canvas disappears and it will come down and say game over. Alright, so our play canvas, we're going to make a couple of copies of things. So the play canvas, we're going to make a duplicate of. I'm going to call this game over canvas. And the game over canvas is going to have a controller script, game over controller. And the game over controller is the bit that's going to handle everything. So it's going to, my plan is we're just going to make a huge, big, giant start tick thing. So it's not going to be available because it's going to be hidden, and as soon as we show it, it's going to do its magic. So it's just going to be one big giant coroutine, but it's going to be the start method of the coroutine. So it's going to be cool. So I've got my game over canvas, and I'm going to drag my game over controller onto that canvas. And now we're going to start to remove things. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that play canvas there. For just now, I'm just going to turn it off, and then inside here, I need my game over. So this is going to be the game over. Where are we? Gold instructions. Where's game over? Background blonde. End placement? No. Oh, there it is there. Game over. You can see we're looking at it. Game over, which is 94 by 19. Okay, which looks far too big for me. That doesn't seem right. 94 by 19. Why is that so big? That makes no sense. Well, let's bring it in a little bit. 0.8, 0.8. So let's make it 0.8 on there. Let's make it 0.7. It seems a bit smug. Bit snug even. Well, that should be 0.7. And that should be 1. Okay. That looks okay. And then the metal one, so we get tens, hundreds, and units. So we can get rid of that one, rid of that one, rid of that one. Actually, we'll just create another UI, and then this one is going to be the metal, which is end placement. And end placement is 113 by 58. These are far too big. Why are these so big? This doesn't make any sense. The background, I get this wrong. Totally wrong. Background's 144 by 256. So that should fit well within that. Why is that not working? I wonder if this is the wrong scale. 1:1. Working object. World space. Whoa, why is that scale off? Whoa, what? Is that scale wrong as well? No, seriously? Ah, darn it. Okay, check your scale. Okay, so the scale, I think, for this one is right on the money then. I don't know why that was scaled up weirdly. Okay, I think it was probably something the way I did it. So the background is 144 by 256, which means this one should be 144 by 256. Which fits bang on there. And then this one here should be scale 111, and then this one should be scale 111. Okay. Alright, that's it. That looks good. And then the play canvas, let's put this back to 111. And that should be 144 by 256. Okay, and then the units should be, these should be scaled appropriately. I think they are. Alright. So the play canvas should look, that's why it looks so big. Okay. What a maroon. Okay, we'll fix that in just a minute. Let's get this one right. Okay, so the game over one, it ends at 52. Let's bring that in somewhat. All right, so our reload all. Game over controller. All right, so our public image, I'm gonna add a UI, game over, text, public, and then this is gonna be the sort of placement. And then we don't need an update. Actually, we do need an update because we need to public void update. We do need to check if it's 0 or not. Check if it's over or not. Sorry, it's been really. I want to get this finished. Toggle pause. Game is paused. And then I need one inside here that's basically bool game is over equals false. Because if game is over, I don't want the player to do anything. So if game is over, return. And if game is over, I want to set that to be true. So when the game is over, I don't want them to do anything like update or click any buttons or anything like that. The game's over, you can't do anything with game controller. Everything now moves on to the game over controller. And this is going to be a enumerator. And I'm going to return you wait for 0.5 seconds. So I'm going to wait for a couple of seconds, and then I want to bring that text down. So the text starting position is 52 is the end position. Okay. And so I want the starting position to be 52, 144. Okay. Float y equal, actually, vector 3 start equals 0. That'll be 0. Equals new vector 3 0 and 44 0. And the end new vector 3. I'm going to say 54. I think it was 54, wasn't it? Yeah. And then I want to do for, no, I don't want to do for, I want to do float time equals 0 while time is less than 1. Pause equals vector 3 dot lerp start end time plus equals time dot delta time, and then I want to say game over text dot transform dot position equals pause. So that's going to move that into position. And then this one is going to end at 0, but it's going to come in from the bottom. So my Y for that one is going to start about here. So minus 160? 165? Okay, 165. So minus 165. So this all over again. And that's got to be yield return null, so we wait to the next frame. And then the start for this one is going to be 0, and then that's going to be minus 165. time equals 0, and then instead of game over text, this is going to be placement. Alright. So that's going to be on the start. Now it's gonna start disabled, so I want to have a game over controller inside here. So I've got my public game over screen. So what I'm going to do is I am going to say at the very end here, game over dot game object set active true. So my game over canvas, I'm going to drag into there. So there's my game over screen there. I'm now going to turn this screen off, so that's going to be off just now. Then I'm going to fix my play canvas because my play canvas is broken. Okay, so I think I just need to rework some of these things here. Okay. Drag that up to about here, and then this one can get dragged up to about here-ish. I think that's about right. These are height, right, height and width units. 6 by 7, is that right? I think, I don't know why that's, oh, I don't have width there. Okay. No, I'm not going to make it out of that one. Right, no reference. Because I haven't set the game over text. Whoops. Okay, so the pause button is actually game over text. Yeah, I haven't set these values across here. And then this one here is the placement image. So my game over text is game over text. And then my placement image is my placement image. All right, so when we run this, we'll just ground it. Game over, and that just pops in. And he starts up again. Why is he starting up again? Well, this is no good. Time equals 0, start as that. That should be fine, because I'm lerping between them. It just suddenly appears though. And then he moves off again. What time is less than that? Start and end. That's why. So it's paused. It's paused, then it doesn't pause. So is this getting in here and toggle pause is getting changed? Toggle pause true. So the speed's not getting moved. Something's getting updated though. If game is over, pause that. Something's getting... I'm going to put a breakpoint on here because I think, yeah, something's getting woken up again. Now, there's something weird here. It looks like it's moving just a little bit. Stuff. Okay. Change speed that there. Playback. Wake up. Well, it's not hitting that, but it is restarting it. Game is over. I'm pretty sure game is over is getting set though. Well, we can. Well, let's test that theory. So we die. Set that there, so it's being set. So this is always being called, and yet our bird is falling. Why is he falling? It's the same as when I paused the game as well, it was the same problem. See, you shouldn't fall. What if I did time dot scale equals 0 equals 1? The only problem with that is now I can't move anything. Well, I can, but so that's definitely paused, and I start up again, and I die instantly. Seems to always do that kind of little kind of jerky up thing. Wake up and sleep. I wonder if wake up and sleep. Wake up. Rigid body. Sleep. Rigid body sleep not working. Some rigid bodies won't fall asleep. They awake when any force are applied to them. If you had a pool game, the balls are... Sleep, sleep, sleep. Sleeping's optimization and temporary remove from physics. Maybe I don't want to sleep. Maybe sleep's a bad thing. Is awake, is sleeping, wake up, touching, cast. Maybe I actually just do it as timescale. Maybe that's a bad idea. Maybe just keep them as timescale, and then inside my game over controller, instead of delta time, I can do unscaled delta time. So I still have control over it, still does text and things, but okay, let's see if this works. So that's him going down, and I unpause it. He still goes down. Okay, that's good. So he's still heading down, unpause, and he's still kind of heading there. He was a little bit kind of tappy-uppy thing there. So he's heading down. And still a bit of a kick. It's not bad. I need to fix those images though. That's bugging me now. Where's my game over canvas though? I have a funny feeling coroutines don't work when you've paused the game. No, they don't. Okay, which means I think what I need to do is I need to disable the bird. I think I need to disable the bird. I think that's the only way to do it. So instead of timescale 0, timescale 1, so the pause is okay. I think what I need to do is do Flappy dot get component rigid body 2D enable active set enabled. Can I not enable it? Why can't I? So I think the problem is the gravity is being applied to it. Game object dot set active false. Let's just remove the Flappy Bird from the equation, and then it's done. Flappy. In fact, we don't need all that. We can just do set active because Flappy is the game object. So we remove Flappy from the equation. Timescale 0, and then set. Oops. And then set time dot timescale equals 1f. I think that'll work. So now we can still pause the game, and the game over screen should still work. So that's me paused. All right, cool. Okay. I think I also need to have my pixel perfect against there as well. So material, game over, and a placement one. I need the pixel perfect one against that one as well. Okay, let me recreate these tens, hundreds, and thousands and things, because I think I've screwed up these ones here. Okay, so 10 units, tens, and hundreds. Okay, so create UI image, and this is going to be 6 by 7, and it is going to be small 0 like that, and it's going to be pixel perfect for the material. And maybe it's not. Maybe let's make them large. That seems really small. Large 0. That seems somehow better. So that's 7 by 10. Seems too big, almost. Let's just make them so small. Yeah, I think they're okay. I think it's just I'm kind of over analyzing. Okay, so I'll grab that one and bring him up to here. Okay, and then do a duplicate and another duplicate. And try and get these on the same line. So that's position of 100. And that's also 100. And that's also 100. And that's going to be 6.4. And that's about right. Okay. And that's close enough to the middle there. All right, that's good enough. I think I got a game over there. Whoa. I died almost instantly because I wasn't paying attention. Okay. Oh yeah, I should probably not have the game over while it's not a game over. Right. So I'll grab that there. Yeah, these need to be apart a little bit more, I think. So they're not running into each other. Looks about okay. Oh dear, game over. Alright, so our medal system is based on this here. So if I bring this back up to 0 for now. So our medal is our UI, oh, there's a null reference. Whoops. Oh yeah, of course, damn it. Because that is our units, tens, and hundreds. And then inside our play canvas, no, not inside play canvas, our score controller, we need our units, our tens, and our hundreds. Okay. All right, so our medal UI image, and this one is going to be bronze. So that's going to be bronze, which is going to be 22 by 22. And it's going to fit right in there. Like that. So that's going to fit in there, and that's going to be our medal indicator. So our medal indicator is going to be, what are we going to do? It's going to be a medal indicator, and it's going to either be bronze, silver, or gold. Okay. So right now we don't have anything in there, so we're going to delete that just now because we have our placement for it. But we can't have nothing in there. So I think what we can do is we can do the white one as the default image. Why are you not showing up? Oh, because it's white, that's why. Yeah, it's this one here, the Sprite 25. So I'm gonna make that one there. Right, so that's the default image. And so that's the medal indicator, and our game over canvas is going to have the sort of 3 levels. So it's going to have public sprite medals. So the medals for that are going to be, what's it? Is going to be just the white one, which is this one here. So this is going to be nothing. That's the thanks for playing. And then you're going to have bronze, silver, and gold. Okay. And I also need to have public image medal. So medal is going to be inactive when we first set it. So our medal indicator is going to be that one, and medal indicator is going to be inactive. So time equals 0. Right, so for this one, I want to show the medal. What else do we need to show up here? So we have the score, we have best. Oh dear. Memory like a sieve. And I've dropped that again. I can't believe I've done that. I don't want to show the adverts, so I'm gonna go over here. My channel. Nope, don't want my channel. As good as it is, I'm gonna go to history, and yeah, there's a commercial. Right. Flappy Bird, get ready, and then dead. Okay, so I've got score and best. All right, so the score and best is actually, I wish we'd duplicated that. Oh well, never mind. Let's get hundreds, tens, and thousands, and then we'll make a duplicate of that, and then we'll drag that over to our placement image. And those values are kicking around somewhere, which are up here. And we'll put them down there. And that's our score. And that's the score there. So we're going to have, let's have a score. So let's have another script called score animator. And score animator is going to have those 3 items there, which is basically going to be a copy of this, which is a terrible idea, but never mind. Okay, so I have the indicators and the numbers themselves. Okay, so I need to get the numbers from someplace, but that's okay, I can get them there. And okay, let me just leave that just now. Let's get the medal indicator done first of all. Okay, so the medal indicator, I want to say the game over controller. I want to get game controller current game. No, it's the score, isn't it? So score controller. Score equals find object of type score controller. And then I want to say if score is less than 2, int middle index equals 0. So if it's greater than 2 and score is less than 5, we'll give them a bronze medal. Else, if score is greater than 4, greater than or equal to 5, and score is less than, score dot score. Because score is the name of the object, and the score, capital score, is the name of the property. So is less than 8, middle index equals 2. Else if score dot score is greater than or equal to 8 and score dot score is less than 11. 0, 1, 2, 3. I think we only have 4, so we've got greater than 10. 10, I think, equals 3. And then what we can say is, medal dot sprite equals medals medal index. But what I want to do is I want to actually kind of spin that medal around a couple of times, and then change the index every time we do it, and then it kind of shows you as the sort of final one. So you might think you're getting gold, you might think you're getting whatever. And then I need to do medal dot set game object dot set active true. So I want to show the medal once I've decided what type it's going to be. How are we doing for time? Oh, we're an hour and a half again. Okay, so I'll need to cut this just now, check that off just now, and then play the game and then see what medal we get. Alright, so we're going for 1, 2, 3, and then so we got bronze, I guess. Is that bronze? Medal indicator is bronze. So we got bronze. So I want to have it kind of swish, 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 swish a couple of times. And then change each time we do it. So I want to do it 4 times. So what I want to do, I want to do for int I equals 0, I less than 4, I plus plus. Actually, so this is going to be Is it medals? Medals. Length. So for each medal, I want to spin this around. I only want to do it for like half a second. And I want to do the scale from 0 to 1 and back again. So the first time is I do scale from 0 to 1. Okay, so medal dot game object dot set active true. So I said it to be true there, so I don't need it down here. And I want to do so the pivot is on 0, so it's going to look like it's going out the way. So I want to do out the way, back the way, out the way, back the way, out the way, back the way, and then end on whatever medal it is. So maybe I actually want to have this into here. And then end on that. Less than or equal to medal index. So I want to end on that one. But I want to do it out the way as well. So okay, that's fine. I can do that. So for each of these, I want to expand it, contract it, expand it, contract it. Okay. So bool expand equals true. So I want to expand so if expand float start scale equals 0, float end scale equals 1f. While time is less than 1, float current scale equals start scale mathf lerp start scale end scale, and then the time plus equals time dot delta time divided by, and then I want it to be like half a second. And then I want to say medal dot transform dot scale equals new vector 3, and then it's going to be in the x. So this is going to be current scale 1 1. I just want it to be 1 1 for the other ones. And then I want to do yield return null. And then after that, expand equals not expand. I want that there because I want this outside of that if statement. Because I want to always do that. So if I want to say if I'm expanding, then I want to say start scale so I do it once, I'm expanding. If I do it one time, I want to expand. And if I do it multiple times, I want to contract and then expand. So if middle index equals 0, or middle index is an odd number, I want to reverse that. Actually, I want to reverse it if it's an odd number, because that means I have two. It's out of scale. So start scale equals 1f, end scale equals 0f. Because I always want to end on an expansion. So this is what I'm trying to work out, is I want to end an expansion, which means I've got to flip it depending on which way, which one starts. So if it's the first one, if it's the first one, you get white, which means you played the game. But if it's bronze, it needs to go expand, contract, and that means that the first one will expand and then the second one contracts when it's set to the new image. So I don't want it to be that way. I want it to be the opposite way. So I want to start expanded and then collapse in on itself. So that's got to flip around there. So if I'm expanding, so if expand start scale equals 0f, end scale equals 1f, else flip it round, start scale equals 1f, end scale equals 0f. Because it'll always do it at least once, I guess, because you're probably gonna get bronze. Okay, and then I want to set, so I don't want it to be that, I want to set it to be the index I in here, because it's got to be less than or equal to the middle index. Okay, and then reset time there, do all that kind of stuff, field return null. Okay. Expand equals true. So I guess I don't really need expand, I only need expand in there, but should be good to go. Okay. So let's make sure middle indicator is -165. Alright. Oh no, I don't want it to be that. I want this to be -165. Because it's got to be below the table there. Below the table. Aphasia is a terrible thing. Oh, I'm going to die. I'm dead. There you go. That works. So I didn't get anything, but it expanded, which is good. Okay, so let's see if we can get bronze. So that's that there. Doing well. No, I'll never make it. There we go. That works. I think it needs to be a little bit faster. I think it's probably 0.25 to make that kind of coin flip. But it's kind of a nice kind of animated version of it. It's probably the biggest class we've got, actually. And it's the game over class. All right. So what do we got on next? I think the only thing we have left is the so we can pause the game. But it's not playing the animation anymore. Not playing the animation before that? I thought it was. I thought it was. Set the animator in playback mode. Stop. Why is that not? Animator. Let's do that here. Animator. Oh, there. Public functions, and then we've got play. Start playback. That's not that then. Start recording, stop playback. Where's stop? Director, player, what? Okay, what's the name of the Flappy one? Okay. Flappy Bird animation. Is that the name of it? Flappy Bird anim? Okay. Play Flappy Bird anim. Nope. What did we break? It was working, right? All right. Where are we? Art, Flappy one, Flappy Bird anim. View animation. Any state. Entry. Why is that not playing back? It was playing back, right? Okay, we'll sure we'll fix it. I think we're breaking more than we're actually fixing in this game. I'm dead. Well, that's not good. I'm assuming I have a button on here which I shouldn't have. So I'm going to delete that there. There you go. And I'm going to remove that component altogether. So that'll stop that from happening. Is that why that's happening? I don't think that's why that's happening. Well, that's annoying. Window animation. Flappy Bird anim is the name of the animation. And then if we go to here, Flappy Bird anim. So if this is right, when we play this, they should be playing. Damn it. Not fast enough. So that's okay. Actually, I wonder if we can just get away with doing that. I don't think we need to stop it. I think if we stop time, it's going to stop it anyway. There you go. Okay, that's fine. Let's just leave it at that. So we'll stop time, everything will be fine. We can move along with our lives. All right. Okay, so we need this one down here, which is the, bring this back up to 0. So we have our medal indicator, we have our units. That's the game. So we have our units, and we have our tens, and we have our hundreds. Right, so we want to display those values, and then we want to display the medal. So the best is just the current best. Okay. Okay. So game over controller. What do we have? We had a score animator. Right. So the score animator is going to have public numbers, public image, oops, and this is going to be indicators, because we're just basically going to be whatever we had before, except we're going to animate various bits and pieces. Like void start animation. So that's our score that we pass into our score animator. And our score animator is going to go on top of these. So that's going to be tens. And this is going to be, oops, units. And then we're going to create a blank object. This is going to be create empty. And this is going to be score. And that's going to be 0, 0, 0. And all of these are going to be inside score. And score animator. So our numbers are going to be our units. Oh, sorry, those are the indicators. Units are going to be indicators, so units, tens, and hundreds. And then our numbers are going to be our small to large numbers, and we drag them into here. So we get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And then we're going to rip off code from our score controller here. So the update visual is just going to be wholesale copied across. I know it's bad practice, but it doesn't really matter. And then we have our indicators here. So our update visual, and then this is going to be our score. And that's going to be game object.setActive. And that's going to be game object.setActive. All right, so we have pretty much what we had before there, but we're going to make this as a start coroutine. We're going to make a coroutine in this, which is animate score. And then we're going to have public. No, we don't need that. We can just need to start the animation. Public is complete. Get private set. So is complete is going to be false, and it's going to be set to true when we've finished it. So enumerator, animate score, and score. So our animator, we need collections. For int I equals 0, I less than or equal to score, I plus plus. So for each score, we're going to increment the counter and then display it. So it's going to go like and then top up. It won't even make that noise, but you know, you can imagine it going like that. So our animate score is going to be that, and so what we want to do is we want to pass this in to update the visual, which is going to update everything else. All right, so what am I getting stuck on here? I'm trying to be 2 steps ahead of this. So it's complete, start animation, animate score. All right, I think we're okay. So I want to wait. So I want to say float time equals 0 while time is less than 1. Actually, I don't want to do that. I just want to have, I don't want to do a wait. What I want to do is I want to do a update visual, and then it's going to be I. You wait for seconds, and then it's going to be 0.25f. So let's say this is, yeah, let's just make it 0.25 seconds just now. Alright, so that's a score animator. So our score animator is attached to score. It's got the numbers there, tens and units, blah, 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 blah. So our score animator is going to be animated. So we can turn off these game objects as well. So each one of these has got to be turned off, because we don't want them visible, because they get visibled when we tell them to. So our game over controller is going to have a new one, which is public. This session's score. So this session's score so the medal index is there. So that's the medal there. So I want to say this session score dot score set score. Session score. Alright, that's what it is. Start animation score dot score. So that passes that in there, and then I need to do while this session score dot complete is complete. So while it's not complete, I'll return null. So I wait for it to become complete. So it's going to animate the score. You'll return null, and then it's going to then do the medal animation. Okay. So make sure I've got that game over canvas. Has to have that indicator there, and it doesn't. So I need to drag the session score to there. So score is disabled just now, but I want it to have I want those to be disabled, but I want score to be enabled. Right. And I also want to hide my placement image. I want to move that back down to 165, and I want to make sure that's visible, or sorry, invisible. It's got to be hidden. Right. So we're going for 1. I want to try and get as many as we can get here. 2. 3. And then once we've finished all this, making sure the game over is done, all that kind of stuff, I want to then speed up the game. So that should be enough. And then crash in here. I bet you I don't have is complete set to be true. So that looks like it's working though. So inside my score animator, I haven't got that to be true, so I do is complete equals true. So probably 0.2, maybe make it 0.1, so it goes a little bit faster. At least twice as fast. It needs to be at least 3 times as big. Okay. So I got this one here. Oh no. Oh, that's actor on it. Perfect. Okay, and then when we click on that, it takes us back to the main menu. We're good to go. Let's make sure it's okay. Got a little join in the seam there, I noticed. Let's see if we can fix that. Ground 1. Oh, I wonder if it's because it's got a trigger on it now. 154, 159, let's make it 158. Okay. Let's make it 158. I think the ground needs to be 158. So that's game controller, is a game controller, the ground, isn't it? Move ground. Ground piece width, which is 154. Ground piece width, which is, let's make it 154. Is it 154? Where's my... I'm missing something in the inspector. Why is that not showing up? There we go. Ground 154, 156. So if I make that 153, maybe that'll work. Well, that didn't work. I just blew up. Okay, it's a little close together, but it's hardly noticeable. I think we can live with that. Nice. Okay. And then, so the game over. There's a game over controller, and then so I'm going to make it clickable at the very end there. So at the very end here, it's going to be clickable equals true. If clickable and input dot mouse button up 0, scene manager, load scene, main menu. So this is going to result in failure, but because we don't have that set. So initially clickable is set to false, and it's only set to true when we get to the end of our start coroutine that's finished. So once the coroutine's finished, clickable becomes equal to true, so that when you click on, so it gives you that kind of grace period. So when you click on the middle thing, if you're like slightly impatient, it's not going to work. It's not going to accidentally click, so you're not going to miss your score. Although I think we need buttons on here, so we could probably get rid of that. In fact, let's get rid of that. We'll just add the buttons. Okay, so let's die. So game over. And that gives us that. So when we click on here, we should get, there you go. Couldn't find that main menu. All right. Let's, placement image is, it goes to 0. So let's have a button here. So UI button. And that button is going to be OK, which is 40 by 14. So that's 40 by 14. Whoops. That's 40 by 14. And the background is button OK. So that's that one there. That there. And the share button, is exactly the same one. So I'm going to duplicate that. I'm going to duplicate that. I'm going to duplicate this. And instead of that background, it's going to be background share. Which we don't need the button text for. And this will be share button. So we're going to disable this button just now. So where's interactable? False. So we're not going to have a share button, but we'll have it on the page anyway. And this is going to be our OK button. And we're just going to show these buttons. It doesn't really matter. So where is it? This is my game over controller. OK button, public button, share button. So my OK and share button, I'm going to do down here. I don't need clickable. I don't need that because I'm going to work on it when I click on the actual thing, so I can get rid of clickable. So at the very bottom here, I'm going to say OK button dot game object dot set active true. Share button dot game object dot set active true. And then I'm going to have a public method here. So public void OK button click. And this is going to be scene manager. Load scene main menu. So kind of what we had before, but it's UI element wise better. So my game over canvas is going to have an OK button, which I drag and drop on there, and it's going to have a share button, which I'm going to drag over there, and then I'm going to have these two are going to be disabled, so they're not going to be shown by default. And I'm going to move my placement image back down to 165. And my game over canvas has got that. And then my OK button, I need to give it the game over canvas. Game over canvas, and the function I want to give it is the OK button click. I need to disable that, or else it comes up straight away. Right. So show this here. And then we go. So it falls in there. Why has my medal disappeared? Where's my medal gone? Medal indicator bronze. Where's my why? Did I get that wrong? So that's 1. I think I need a minimum of 3 for bronze. Game over. Yeah, it's that's not showing the right one. So it's showing the right one, it's just not going to scale correctly. So I want it to be start off there, end there. Oh right, okay, and then expand equals false. It's got to be the opposite of that because I've got that in there. Because by default we're expanding, whereas this one we're contracting. All right, okay. Right, let's see if we get that to show up. Two, 3, and then end. There we go, that's it. And yeah, so share is disabled just now, and we'll have OK to handle that there. We don't have a best score just yet, but that's fine. Actually, well, we can have a best score. So the best score is going to be, let's show everything again. Placement image is 0, and then we have these ones here, so I turn them on, and I do a duplicate of that, and this is going to be best score. And our best score is going to be all of these. Down here. So these are all turned off. These are all turned off. This is disabled. And now I need a best score. So score animator, and this is going to be best score. I'm going to say int current best score equals player prefs dot get int best score. default value is 0. Actually, default value is going to be score dot score, because if it doesn't exist, I want it to be the player's current score. And then I want to check and see that if it's the best. So if score dot score is greater than current best score, greater than or equal to player prefs dot set int best score score dot score. And then I'm going to do the same thing that we have for this session score, which is down here somewhere. Best score dot start animation current best score, while best score dot is complete, you'll return null. So show the best score, show the player's score, show the medals, enable everything, game over, job's good. And the only one we have is main menu doesn't work, because we don't have a main menu yet. And the best is 3. Uh-oh. Because I haven't dragged that across there yet. Damn it. So best score has got to be over here. And now that that's there, it's going to show the best score. So we'll try and get a good score here, and then that'll be our best score for... Oh, that's terrible. Well, at least it remembered our best score. Let's see if we can get 4. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, and then take a note of 5. Okay, so the best score now is 7, but the previous best was 3. So if I just die at this point, it's going to be 1, 7, 1. Okay. And the reason why that's popping up there is because this should be minus 65. All right, I think as far as the game's concerned, I think we're on a good footing here. I think everything's in here. The only thing that's missing is the sort of start intro bit, which I think we can tidy up. But I think for a sort of for Flappy Birds, I think we're pretty much done here. We have a fully functioning game, so yeah, I think we're good to go. Cool. So that's Flappy Birds, part 1 anyway. So join me next time, and we will do the intro, the sort of tutorial part where it says tap here to fly, and we'll do the main menu, and I think that'll be it. That'll be us done. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, thumbs down. Let me know why, either way. And thanks again. So catch you next time.